Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Now, we're going to talk about something called the CDT plates or the founder records. CDT stands for Cloister Doratura, so I'm going to call them CDT because it's much easier. It's a bit of a tongue twister to get your mouth around. These were gifted, these are 12 holographic plates that were gifted to humanity by the founder races. 246,000 years ago, or 246,000 years BC. And they were gifted to effectively the 12 tribes, 12 plates. One plate was, or disc, it's probably more accurate to call them a disc, was gifted to each tribe. And it was in the guardianship, is the best way of saying it, of the Margi Grail King of each of the 12 tribes. And these were used to teach humanity because they contained all the information of the universe, really, to be frank with you, but creation mechanics, ascension mechanics, Templar mechanics, galactic history, the history of humanity's origins, information on sacred sciences, information on DNA, whatever you could wish for, it was there. So, I mean, just the most amazing gift for humanity to be given this knowledge in a format that it could access. But also, as you can imagine, very bright, shiny things that the fallen races wanted, so they have been fought over long and hard over human history, where the fallen races have constantly tried to gain access to this knowledge. And when we had the massive problems that took us into this last dark age, the fallen races did manage to get hold of two of the CDT plates. The other CDT plates were actually taken off planet for safekeeping, but two of them did fall into the hands of fallen races, and they have used them to actually twist and warp and damage not just the human template, but the planetary templates as well. They've misused and abused what are sacred teachings and sacred knowledge, and then fed bits of it back to us in warped and corrupted teachings and information. Our science, what we call our science, has huge chunks missing out of it. That means that it doesn't work for us, it works against us a lot of the time. So there's been massive abuse of this information. One of the plates was won back by Guardian forces in the 1600s. The other one only came back into Guardian keeping relatively recently, but they are all back in Guardian hands. That's for those geeks out there, they're actually made of a particular type of selenite, a crystal selenite, which comes from Sirius B. It's different to Earth selenite, and there's some sort of radioisotopic covering to it, and then a kind of silvery alloy over the top of it. And as I think I said at the beginning, they are holographic, so you really do have to tune into them in order to be able to decipher and download the information. But, we can all do that because we all have that ability at some level when we reach a certain level of consciousness. So I think Felix is going to pick up from that point and take it forwards.
Yeah, thanks for that, Saira. That was a really great explanation, actually. So everybody's got the ability to kind of tune in and connect into these CDT plates. What I've kind of found when I have connected into them is multiple different things, actually. One of them being that my field got very, very, very charged, and then it became almost like I was not in this world at all, and it all started projecting all around me. So that was one of my kind of interactions with it, and a lot of the kind of information that was, I'm just being given the memory back now. So a lot of the memory of, sorry, let me just allow this to come in. the way I can kind of like describe it is an archaeologist going into Egypt and starting to decipher hieroglyphics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're kind
That's a
of
good way of putting it.
pulling the information out of it, the coding that you're reading breaks down and translates through multiple layers of information. So it's a convergence of information that then reorders and reconstructs itself, which then updates your own inner knowing understanding and activates the DNA to be able to bring this online. So that that is one experience of it that I've had. Another experience that I've had is when I've gone to specific sacred sites within the astral or through remote viewing. And this has then taken me into portions of history held in interdimensional layers that have then given me like a symbol code, for example, like Noah's Ark. This was one of the symbol codes that came in, and this held all the genetic history within there. And as I was, as I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck is this? Trying to decipher it because it was so complicated and there was just so much information there, which I'm still now thinking about is I feel like maybe I've just got like 1/1 millionth or 1 billionth of knowledge out of it. But it does kind of open up and give you a treasure trove of information. And it's just about having that initial download of whatever it is that you're getting to come into your system to then further down the line open and open and open. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
did. I mean, initially, I don't know about you, Felix, but it was just complete overwhelm.
yeah.
And like, because I mean, you'll have heard us talking, and it's almost at times like we're using a different language because there are terms, there are concepts, there are words that are not part of our everyday at all. You literally have to learn what this means, and you get a word pops into your head and it's what the heck does that mean? What is it? And you go poking about and you focus in and and then you understand, oh, that's what it is. But and we talk to you don't have that. So I mean, it must at times it must. I know it's been said to me, it's like you're talking a different language at times. And I can feel, people say to me, I can feel the resonance of what you're saying, but I don't really understand it. And it's like,
Yeah.
stick with it, because it does
Yeah.
slowly unpack in you. It's like little keys going into locks within you. But when
Hmm.
it first does come in, it is overwhelming, and it can be very confusing. So
Hmm.
you just have to be dogged and determined. And gradually it kind of begins to take a shape, and it begins
Mm.
to make sense, and it becomes an inner knowing. This knowledge, this understanding, it's not a belief.
Mm.
It's not a learning. It's an absolute knowing. It sits in your cell tissue, and the truth of it cannot be shaken out of you.
Mm.
And that's one way maybe of beginning to sort of, well, are these false teachings? Are
Mm.
these true?
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't question the truth when it lands.
Mm. Hmm.
It just, the utter rightness of it sits within you,
Hmm.
and won't be moved.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the impulse of it as well. I mean, I'm still feeling it now as I've just kind of reviewed that memory. It's so, so, so strong. And that charge and resonance that sits within you will be the guiding force to teach you that this is correct, this is accurate.
Yeah.
Um, and this is the kind of the way forward. So when you kind of start to look into these places, start to call upon the teachings, you will kind of be drawn through dream, you will be drawn through kind of sacred location, through the consciousness family's
Mm.
memory. And that all of these are kind of little stepping stone pathways for you to download the teachings, whether you kind of consciously know it or you don't. It will open regardless.
Mm.
You've just got to kind of attune yourself to that feeling and start to build the resonance of the knowing of it and what it
Mm.
feels like to kind of connect into that.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I was originally quite resistant, and I had, I mean, it really wanged back in my body because all of this information was coming in, and I didn't know what to do with it, and it did feel overwhelming. And I put up barriers in my field to it, which
Hmm.
caused me dreadful problems. I had the most like electric headaches and things. I mean, just really, and it took me years to really figure through what that was about.
Hmm.
And just by yielding,
Yeah, you just
yielding
surrender.
myself to the information, it all went away. So
Yeah.
be aware that because of
Hmm.
the overwhelm, your energy field might push back, and there might be kind of a
Hmm.
physical kickback on that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, the energies are so free now compared to what they were even 5 years ago.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
much freer and so much easier. So it's as good a time as any to sort of start into it.
Hmm.
And oh, the treasure trove! It just goes on and on. It's a gift that just keeps giving, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, and you'll find I'm not actually yawning because I'm tired. I'm just yawning with the sheer volume of information that just flew into my field
Mm,
then. So that would then start to update and release out what is blocking you from accessing the
mm.
knowledge that you're storing from there. So
Yeah, and I find when
yeah.
these big downloads come in, it's not like all of a sudden it's kind of like it's
No, you have to take your
written
time with
on
it.
the yeah. I mean, it all goes into your energy system, as it were, and then when your point of focus goes into that, for
Mm,
me, it's almost like the knowledge and understanding just blooms open.
mm,
It's all there,
mhm,
just
mhm,
waiting for you to
mm,
tap into it.
yeah, lovely. Oh, thank you so much for that, Saira. That was really interesting as well for me to know the history. Yeah, so thank you all guys so much for watching today. It was lovely to spend the time with you. If you did like that, give us a like and a subscribe, and I'll leave Saira's details down below. Thanks so much.